Greetings, geeks, to episode 613 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am here today with a plethora of geeks. Chris DeBona.
I am one plethora.
Rob Roseboom.
One of a plethora.
And Cliff Lampy, because Rob's muted.
Greetings, all.
Hello.
You know, for the people who are watching on podcast or listening on podcast, they might have thought that you weren't even really here. All right, folks. Cliff showed up, so I think we have to open with the discussion of Jupiter's legacy. How far are we into the show, gentlemen?
I can't remember if I watched. I think I watched 4 episodes, and then I gave up.
I have finished the show.
Whoa, that's commitment. Yeah, I've watched, I think, about, I want to say 4 or 5 seconds of the first episode.
Cool.
So far so good.
All right. So yeah, so far no
We
problem.
couldn't wait to discuss this. So, Rob, what have you seen?
I've seen 3.
No. We should discuss it. It's fine. You're not going to be ruining it for me.
And the first episode is not the worst episode. So,
well, all right.
This is the worst episode.
Wait, do they have an old-timey time travel episode?
No, because you see, Utopian is 120 years old.
Yeah, they have to explain how they all got their powers and such.
Did his parents get killed in the back of a old-timey movie theater?
Sort of. There is definitely. Throughout this, like in many of these comic book shows, there's this like Freudian parental, especially fatherly alienation story going on.
Mm-hmm. Is this his dad?
No, that's
like his brother.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his brother. Well, I mean, okay, older brother.
Yes.
I mean, so they're all in aging makeup.
They do have a very similar
angular wang,
angular
cod
bodies. You know, so
like you've never worn a cod piece for your work.
it's violent in corporate America.
I don't know what it's like at the University of Michigan, Mr. Lampy, Professor Lampy, Dr. Lampy, but where I work, there's no codpiece requirement.
So
we're advised to wear a cup at all times.
So here's the thing. It's never been better for someone who is a fan of superhero movies ever.
That's true.
Yep.
I would completely agree.
Between Invincible, Umbrella Academy, The Boys, Doom Patrol.
Sure.
They are some absolutely perfect superhero television shows for you to watch. And then there's a whole bunch of sort of mediocre ones that are still pretty okay. I would put, Falcon and the Winter Soldier in there. I would put the newest Swamp Thing in there. I would put, Netflix's Daredevil in there. Even Netflix's Punisher, I would put sort of in the medium good.
Yeah, medium good.
And then there's a whole bunch of crap, right? Like the CW and all that stuff.
See, I still think I would put a couple more gradients there, maybe, is my difference, right? Like, I think there's lower good, right? There's like medium good, then lower good. Like
For sure. My point is
crap.
Oh yeah, my point is, and I think this is Batwoman level crap.
Wow, that's bad.
I think there is so much like B to A plus superhero television right now that there isn't place for this anymore. If we were still like, oh awesome, the Fantastic Four movie is coming out,
right?
And this show came out, and that's all you had, you'd be like, okay, it's fine. It is what it is. But it's not as good as a dozen other shows right now. Yeah. And you're at a time where all the media is just being stuffed with superhero or quirky sort of television shows like this. And
especially in a show like this that leans into, we wear traditional superhero stereotype costumes. We're very much like in the same way that Invincible is basically the Justice League. The characters, they're all archetypes to the Justice League. This is very much leaning into that. And if you're going to do that, cool. But then you got to be good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still more torn than Roseboom is on this one, right? Like, and it's maybe just because I see what this could have been. Like, there's such clumsy storytelling here that I think there are a couple themes that I think are unique to this show that they're not, that you don't really see covered in a lot of other stuff, right? Like The Boys is probably the closest analog to, like, you know, really what is the crappy life of a superhero actually like, right? But what this show goes into that Boys doesn't is like how that changes over time, right? Like how like the what's his name? The Utopian is really struggling with that change and what he perceives as morals over time and stuff. And that's a really cool idea that's being very clumsily told, I think, in this show.
Do they have like an extended episode where he's learning how to deal with Instagram and TikTok?
They don't. They do have an interesting therapy episode, right? Like kind of a, not quite a bottle episode, but like a Tony Soprano style therapy episode where he goes into some of the issues behind why he's such a believer in the code. And that's one of the failings of the show, is the code is central to kind of everything that's happening in the show, but they don't really go into it. They don't really go into how it was developed.
Oh, that's
they don't
annoying.
really go into what it is. They don't really like.
Was it developed in the 50s as a response to the moral panic?
In the
like
30s.
The comics code? Oh.
Yeah. What it does a lot is it dabbles a lot in moral relativism, but doesn't like dig deep into it. Like I said, it kind of looks at the idea of there being an absolute good, an absolute truth and justice, and whether or not when you bend what that is, whether or not, you know, there is an actual absolute good, or whether or not you're just being lazy and not living up to your potential. So there is a lot of family sort of stuff in it, but it's all sort of like not developed, not explored, and all the acting isn't very good.
That's what I keep wondering. Like,
for me, that's the problem.
Is it Josh Duhamel that's really getting me?
Josh Bechamel. Yeah,
and quite frankly, the special effects are awful.
Really?
The special effects are like maybe a step up from CW, but maybe.
I don't know. The part where they're flying around on those little jet boots.
That's a different movie, Chris. Different Jupiter.
I do like the different powers, and that's also like kind of a tease in some ways, right? There's like a really cool hint at a different kind of set of superpowers than we've typically seen. But like, yeah, they don't go into it. It's kind of just like,
I just watched the I don't know, like episode 3 where they blow up the bad guy and punch the guy's head and everything, and like you have people who are just like revealing that they have these cool powers, but like then they die and whatever. So okay, if your superheroes are disposable, fine. I don't like that. If that's your deal, I mean, Invincible did the exact same thing. They just did it better, and I think that's the real problem for this show, is that like all the interesting things that are being done in the 3 episodes that I've seen, Invincible literally did it better 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah, can I guess at their powers by looking at their suits?
Sure, that'd be fun.
Okay, so the dude on the right here, he's got like this, EKG thing on his chest. So it's probably like an electricity lightning guy.
Wrong.
Does he have the power to stop people's hearts with his mind?
No,
not a close service.
Is he a cliff diver?
Yes, he's a cliff diver.
He's a free diver? Okay.
That's his superpower. He dives off cliffs.
And then she has a little angelic halo over her bird logo, so she can probably fly. I think they can all fly, but she's definitely a flyer. And she has the power to shoot sonic-like coins out of her eyes at her enemies.
And when you bump her, rings fly everywhere. You have to quick scoop them back up.
And the little uterus here at her belt line is designed to poke her and give her cramps whenever she's punched, because the little metal digs into her here. Dude. So, well, I'm just saying, it's like these are very bad designs. I like this one here. It's going to poke him right in the groin, right? He gets a good punch, and it's going.
I mean, to be generous, I think the bad designs are supposed to be on purpose, right? Like, because an underlying theme is how hokey the very concept of superheroism is.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. And his powers, well, he's got the coins that he can shoot out of his eyes too, and that's it. That's all he can do. He's basically a change machine. You know, like the ones you get at the grocery store.
He's a coin star.
Amazon credits. He's coin star.
That'd be a cool superhero.
I mean, he's basically Superman.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like
No,
Utopian is basically Superman, and I feel like Duhamel has the physicality for that. Like when you see him walking around, like he's got the physical presence that I think is really compelling. He just can't act worth a damn.
This is so Kat and I have discussed him extensively over the years, but I think his problem is that he is like he's generic handsome man. He's like you take the 10 hot men from Hollywood and morph them into one guy, and you basically have him. But each of those individual actors have the 18 charisma that's more than just physical attractiveness. So he ends up being
the elephant here.
Right. He's like a 16, 17 charisma. So he never is going to be the superstar. He can't carry a show like this. But you're right. In Frozen Frame, he often looks fine. But like there's a scene where he's like delivering these emotional things, emotional dialogue to his family at the dinner table, and you're just like, ugh, I am watching the CW.
Yeah, and a lot of the family drama stuff, it's like, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's like Lois and Clark, but done worse somehow.
Ouch.
Because the kids are even
worse than Lois and Clark.
Because the kids are even more realistic. I mean, they couldn't be more stereotypes, you know, like, oh, I'm the disgruntled artistic daughter who doesn't want to be a hero. Oh, I'm the disgruntled young man trying to live up to the ideals of my father. Yeah. And, you know, just please give me a little more depth. My big issue with this is that I think this is a superhero show that would be fine in the 90s or 2000s.
Totally.
We just have much better stuff to watch now. Yeah.
The bar got raised.
Well, and I just watched the final episode last night, and there's a surprise. There's obviously new seasons planned. Oh, good. Given how they cliffhanger the season here, and the twist is just like, to heck with you guys, to heck with you.
But like the finale episode of Invincible, you're like, I will now watch 1,000 episodes of this show because I want to know what you're going to do with this.
Yeah, I love Invincible.
I may not love Invincible as much as you, but yeah.
Well, it's well executed.
Yeah, sure is.
I don't know. Like, I'll probably watch a couple more episodes and see where it goes for me.
I'll probably finish it out because I'm that far into it.
I mean, we'll definitely
committed.
Watch it.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's you have to, right?
Yeah. So when I watched
Star Trek.
When I was 6 years old, I made a foolish vow to myself.
Oh no!
That I would watch every superhero thing that ever came out. Because at that time, there was such a scarcity of superhero stuff. And I'm sitting there watching Greatest American Hero like a sucker.
I can believe that. Or not.
I swore to myself I'd watch every superhero thing, and I will not break that vow.
I have to tell you, there were some episodes of The Greatest American
Except
Hero
for Batwoman.
That to this date resonate. Like the one where he sort of rediscovers the spaceship where he got his powers from. Like, I mean, this was a good show.
You have no idea how much I loved the show Manimal as a kid.
Oh, sure.
That gives the idea of my taste, right?
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Oh, the cut scenes when his face would morph into the Black Panther.
I was always pissed that he was always the panther, the hawk, the eagle or the snake, though. I was like, wow, there's so many more interesting animals.
There was that one episode he was a horse.
He's a horse?
Yeah, a horse, of course.
Of course.
To be fair, I'd turn into a horse a lot. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, you get places really fast.
Some places.
For that, I might turn into a bird.
Sure.
A raptor, an eagle, an owl.
That all makes sense.
So I don't know. Jupiter's Legacy. I love it for what it could have been, and hate it for what it is.
I think
Felice Mila Kunis is cute in it.
Yep. Yep. And when they rollerblade, it's sweet. Space rollerblade.
Space rollerblades.
All right, Chris, why don't you play around a Lovetris?
Oh, there's a Lovetris?
Yep. So last time we...
Where?
It's in there. Last time you played Hatris.
I'll cue that up while y'all talk.
Which it's a Tetris that gives you the worst possible piece. Lovetris is the Tetris that gives you the best possible piece for every Tetris. And
I feel like that's what the world needs right now.
Right? Love, sweet love.
Yeah, but why isn't it just all of this? Oh, I see. Why it's not just all that.
Yeah, I don't think it's designed to give you Tetrises. It's just always designed to give you a piece that fits nicely.
Yep. But I'm gonna build the whole.
All right, and while you do that, we can talk about the new Venom trailer.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that was rough.
It was rough. I kind of enjoyed it in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the old Venom movie at all. This one looks like it's trying to be a little bit hokey, so I'm willing to give it a shot. But I don't know how that matches up with Carnage, since he is literally a psychopath who enjoys flaying people alive, really. I mean, he's dark. He's like 7 dark.
Yeah.
Well, they have
They
have Woody Harrelson playing him, so it's gonna be
I know, but
Woody
if they're going to have, joke sort of buddy movie Venom on one half and then Silence of the Lambs on the other,
right.
I don't know how those two work together, but
I think so the part of Venom that I liked in the first one, I liked who's the gal who played the scientist who's on Parks and Recreation?
Oh, yeah.
I liked her.
Annoying. Yeah. Jenny Slate.
Jenny Slate. I liked her because that's the first time that I had ever seen her in live action doing something where it wasn't the annoying character that she always plays in everything else.
Sure.
And I really liked the last 5 or 10 minutes of the movie where Venom is actually talking and their characters, and they have a banter and a we're screwed kind of stuck together relationship. I thought that stuff was funny. And I enjoyed it. The rest of the movie I can mostly pass on, but this movie looks like it's leaning into that last that relationship between the two of them. And if you can make that work for 90 minutes, all right.
The hard part I have about that is that you're doing a buddy cop movie with one of the buddies talking like this the entire time.
Batman does that.
Yeah, but he's not a buddy cop.
He's intimidating the criminals.
The first one was really hard to watch. It had some moments that were really fun, but most of the time you're just going, what were they thinking? And the special effects were like the test special effects they do before doing the real special effects to see if it's what you want.
You're
like in the pirated
entire
Wolverine.
movie of being temps.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it was basically temp effects, and then so that wasn't so good. I was like, if you tried a little harder, this could have been all right. But I enjoyed the trailer.
The best part of the first Venom movie is that it had, after the credits, it had 5 minutes of Into the Spider-Verse as a trailer. And it was friggin' awesome. That scene, I walked out of that theater as excited as I have ever been, purely because it had 5 minutes of Into the Spider-Verse attached at the end.
It's such a good movie.
I mean, to be fair, I've never been a huge fan of Venom in the comic books either, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've only read a few of his storylines, and I don't really care about him. I don't have... quite frankly, it's the same thing for me as Boba Fett is in Star Wars, right? He was a relatively minor character, which for some reason everybody loves. And now they added a whole bunch of stuff for him, in the prequels and everything, but he's got 20 seconds of screen time in the original movie, and I don't really care. And I kind of felt that way about Venom. Why is he so disproportionately loved by the fanboys? Because the stories that I read was just meh.
He's a huge part of the Spider-Man arc for a while. I mean, he's the reason Spider-Man had the black costume for such a long time. So
or he was the rationalization for it.
He has a much bigger part than, say, Boba Fett does in the Star Wars universe.
Sure.
He's probably the most important modern villain in Spider-Man. So, I mean, that's why they give him so much attention.
Sure. Is my
he's the Joker, basically.
Yeah. I always found him to be relatively uninteresting, but maybe I was too young or too old.
That may be. I'm just talking about his place in the Spider-Man universe.
Well, but I didn't read. I only read '60s Spider-Man, and then like around 2000, I started reading Spider-Man again, and he wasn't really in it by then. It was past all the clones and shit.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I missed some of those really glorious bad plot lines. Let's see. Okay, Money, please. Jenny Slate. She's that character in so many things, but like in the Venom movie, she actually was playing she proved to me that she can be a good actress.
What's the movie she does with Chris
mispronounced
Evans?
symbiote. Oh gosh.
Something like Atlantic Fortune or blah blah blah. She's
that.
really good in that too. She does a really nice job in that movie, playing it straight.
Yeah, I don't know.
And she's great in Drunk History.
Oh, she's always good in that. Let's see. So the New York Attorney General has declared ISP's the FCC commenting fraud on the net neutrality story. It is kind of amazing to me that only now, like 3 years later, they're like, oh yeah, because I seem to recall like 3 years ago when this was actually happening, people were like looking at the forums and like, dude, you're being spammed, and now they're like, yeah.
Yeah, it was because they wanted to be, right? They just wanted an excuse, right? I mean, this is Ajit Pai. The guy was dirty, right?
This story makes me my need for right and wrong in the universe. This story makes me so angry, so angry.
It should make you angry. Basically, the top telecommunications companies in the country, manipulated the system for their own gain. It was naked avarice,
I wonder if that's ever happened before.
First time for everything.
I mean, not to go too socialist on you all, but I mean,
whoa, come on, commies.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, that one pissed me off because you could just watch it happening because those forums were all public, and you were just like,
so obvious,
look, it's just happening here, and you're just willfully ignoring it. Like that's. I don't like to think people are evil, but there comes a point where you have to look at this and just like what you're doing is like this is evil.
You saw Jupiter's Legacy. There's evil amongst us.
We're still talking about the movie with the Channing Tatum with cat ears, right?
Yeah. Dog ears.
Dog ears.
Okay.
Remember, she says she loves dogs.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Really
And
then the bees love her because she's like the bee queen, so she's like Queen Swarm.
Sure.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, no. The bees they hovered around her.
The bees are attracted to her for some reason.
She's the queen of the universe. Yes.
Yeah.
Bee royalty.
Bee queen.
Bee queen. Kill me.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. One of you guys shared a pizza vending machine. Is this thing moving?
Is this the oldest thing ever, though?
Or is it just that guy?
This is like the oldest story, though. There's like a how it's made on how these are made.
Okay.
Well, now I want to see this. May 6th.
I think the novelty here is that it's in Rome, right? So it's like we've taken this thing.
And the first pizza vending machine in the United States was put in my town not too long ago. So they might have pizza vending machines other places, but not here or in Rome, Mr. DePona.
That is like kind of like a go to heck with your mom to all the Italians, right? Like, here, you guys care a lot about pizza. Here's a vending machine.
I don't know. I'm all for it, but I like the cars that bake it like while it's driving to your house. I think that's cool too. Like it's got the oven right there, so it pulls
that
up.
That company's also out of business.
Oh, for sure. But I want that.
Look, there's literally a how it's made about this machine.
That's awesome.
It's got flour. It makes the dough. It does the whole thing.
So the NTSB says that Tesla that crashed a few weeks back could not have been using autopilot. I don't know what they did with their sciences, but at least there was somebody sitting in the car.
Well, no. It was really interesting. It was super interesting because they looked at a video of them getting in the car, and they just got in the car like normal people.
Oh, shocking! That seems like research.
Yeah. They watched the video. It turns out they saw the freeze frame, and that was fine.
That's how you give it away.
And literally, they got, I don't know, 500 feet from the house and went into a ravine. I think they were just loaded. You know?
Speaking of Tesla, did anybody watch the Saturday Night Live with Elon Musk this weekend?
I couldn't bring myself to do it.
I watched the opening monologue.
What'd you think of that, Mr. Rosewood?
It might be a part of expectations, but I don't know. I didn't think his opening monologue was any worse than a half dozen other opening monologues I've seen on that show.
Right.
Yeah. What about you, Cliff? What did you think about his appearance?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure I got what the controversy was about him.
Yeah,
right, with the cast. Like they had Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live,
right?
Like,
I mean, they've had no end of no talent ass clowns on a Saturday Night Live for decades.
And I know Dogecoin fell 30% after his appearance, so he must have done something wrong.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I didn't watch any of the sketches. I just watched the opening monologue because that seemed to be what most people were bitching about. And I watched it and I thought, wow, we just weren't angry enough today, I guess. Everyone decided to be mad about something, and this was it.
Well, I mean, I do get like he misrepresents autism pretty heavily in part of that, but whatever.
I saw that he was an autist according to the internets, but I don't know.
Well, no, he said he had Asperger's on stage,
so. Which is not a term we use anymore.
That's offensive now, man.
Is it?
No, but you don't use it's scientifically inaccurate.
It is. No.
Oh, it's offensive now?
Yeah.
Because I assume that's the point in the spectrum where I would land, where I too have been diagnosed in 1988.
It's not offensive to be like what was previously called Asperger's, but like Asperger himself was like a Nazi eugenicist.
Oh, for sure. Yes. No, I know. I knew that.
Wait, a Nazi and a eugenicist? That's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
They go together so closely.
And a violinist, so
and an artist, who had daddy issues, kind of like in Jupiter's Legacy.
So we should probably start smashing violins because that guy is horrible.
All stringed instruments. Let's not stop.
Yeah,
I'm gonna smash my guitar right here.
Well, okay, so there was one skit in that Saturday Night Live that was admittedly pretty funny, and it was basically there's a guy on Mars, Chad, who he's basically your dumbass
Pete
type.
Davidson.
Of course, he's Chad.
And no, I mean it's like a whole thing he does. It's a theme. Anyway, and it was moderately funny, so I'll give him credit. And Elon Musk played Elon Musk, so it was fine.
I mean, I like, for all my bitching and complaining about the internet, I like that it's pretty good at taking a 90-minute episode of Saturday Night Live and telling me that there's 4 minutes that I should watch.
Yeah, just watch the Chad, you'll be fine. The rest of it is either borderline forgettable at best and just a huge waste of time.
So we can talk about the WhatsApp story.
Sure.
Which is just that Cliff might actually want to participate in that one, but
he's our local WhatsApp authority.
Well, it's just interesting because they are. If you don't accept the policy, their new privacy policy. If you don't accept it, they just start disabling features, and then after another month or so, then the app just shuts down.
Wow. Yeah, that's what we used to call extortion. Like back when I was running insurance rackets. So it's a nice app you got there. It'd be a shame if you lost some of them features.
Well, I know you like messaging, but what if it didn't message? Why don't you click on the accept there, buddy?
Yeah.
When
you're owned by Facebook, that kind of stuff.
I just got to wet Suck's beak a little bit here, Then you can talk to your friends.
That's right.
I know you think they're your friends, but they're my friends too.
Right.
So,
Isn't it great that that they're just doing that so that they can support their user base, with the quality product that their user base has come to know and love?
Well, imagine if this was a real world product like a car. Like if you fail to sign the user agreement in your car, you wake up one day and your leather seats are gone. Like,
or what, 7 years later, they mail you a new license agreement. Say, hey, we changed our mind.
Right.
Your car's a diesel now.
Good luck without power steering. Yeah.
It's amazing.
We're just gonna let your brakes work on 3 of your tires, but we're not gonna tell you which ones.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty great. Guys, I got some bad news. I think I'm losing faith in the universe.
What?
I know. I think the forces of evil might be trumping the forces of good.
But wait a second. Voyager has passed the heliopause again.
I know. It's crossed another arbitrary every 6-month threshold. No, now it's detecting a hum, Chris.
Oh, it's a hum.
Yeah, it's a hum outside of whatever arbitrary threshold Voyager passes every 6 to 18 months.
It's probably.
Do they have a recording of it?
It's probably the galactic groove. They found the origin of all music. That's what I think is going on.
It's very faint and monotone because it is in a narrow frequency bandwidth. We've detected the faint, persistent hum of interstellar gas. Wow, that's great.
Right? I just share that because I just think it's so funny that Voyager is like the gift that keeps on giving. Every 6 to 18 months, a new story pops out. Voyager found a thing. It's crossed a threshold. And I have a feeling that that's going to be going still 20 years from now.
Do you think that's just NASA trying to milk it, right? Like they send out a press release every 6 months just to say, hey, remember us, NASA? Don't fall in love with Elon. We're still in space too.
You know what I bet it is?
Who do you think pays Elon? NASA.
You know what I bet it is? And I say this with only a little bit of tongue in my cheek. I bet you that there are just old science beat reporters who have some sort of Google alert set up on Voyager. And so if anything comes out, they're like, "Oh, Voyager, I liked that 30 years ago." If you told me right now that something was happening with the space shuttle, I'd go and probably read that thing. And I bet that there's enough people out there with Google alerts set up to keyword off Voyager and there's not that much interesting stuff that happens in deep space study on a typical news day. So you got to fill up your space.coms and your spaceflight nows and your Discovery Science page.
I'm looking for a recording of this thing.
Well, they only transfer data at 160 bits per second, so it's probably going to take a while to send back the MP3. What with MP3s not having been invented for like 25 years after the probe launched.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I read a story about how they've changed the Voyager's transmitters as time has passed to continue to communicate with it, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, the everything about the science of Voyager is freaking amazing. The engineering behind that is extraordinary.
Yeah. And nowadays we just pay Elon Musk to go do jokey jokes on the Saturday Night Lives.
There's a nice short story about a plucky little Voyager 1 faithfully sending messages back to a hollowed, emptied Earth destroyed by environmental change and disease.
Was that Star Trek: The Motion Picture?
Could be. Voyager. There's rumor that Voyager's going to be a prominent.
Picard.
No, I think that in the Strange New Worlds, maybe.
Okay.
But I know I saw that they were talking about bringing back Voyager, which I don't know how you would do, but. Well,
you know how they're going to do it. They're just everyone's going to be bald. That's the twist. It's going to be Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Everyone, not a lick of hair.
I do not approve of this because I think that Captain Pike fellow without hair, he would be much less hot.
Yeah, sure. Probably true of Rebecca Romaine as well. She probably look like she's an enormous egghead.
Maybe she's got like a weird mole in the back of her head that we can never.
Well, I mean, we all look kind of weird, when you see us without hair for the first time.
Right? Rebecca Romaine from The Librarians.
Yep, from The Librarians. That's where she's known from. She's not Mystique. nor married to John Stamos.
I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but since Cliff opened the door, I've seen The Librarians. I loved it. I mean, I just thought it was super fun, and had Bob Newhart and Noah what's his face. I enjoyed the hell out of The Librarians, and it's hokey and it's goofy, and my mom loved it, but I'm there. That's what Jupiter Legacy should have been. Where's the Bob Newhart?
Do you want to add Bob Newhart? All right, cool.
Jane Curtin.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's the perfect show.
You want to show us the jetpacking dude, Chris?
Wait, I'm finding a Librarian's image.
Okay. I still haven't seen it. You guys talk about it a lot, like way more than you should for a show.
As Colonel Eve Baird.
Yeah, it's so good.
Is it new?
Oh, no.
No.
It's really old. It's
I don't know what it is.
20 years ago? It's basically... Explain.
Because Cliff, you mentioned it like on Saturday too. Like, why does this show keep happening?
It's completely Canadian.
Because if a show could be a spirit animal, The Librarians is Cliff's spirit animal.
All right.
That's true. Goofy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that font.
That font is everything you need to know.
I mean, it's like a shittier papyrus.
The whole fact that you focus in on fonts means that you won't like The Librarians.
No, it might mean I'm into it because I like books and words.
Yeah, if only it were about that, though.
Oh no, that's a different thing entirely.
It's moderately attractive Canadians to having adventures.
Is that John Larroquette?
Yes.
All right, that's why we were talking about The Librarians. Oh my God.
John Larroquette. You know, John Delancey is like the discount John Larroquette. Let's be clear about this. All right, we can talk about jet suits now.
Show us jet suits, and then I think we're outies.
So I posted this on Twitter, and I was like, let's be clear about something. This is cool. This is super cool, right? But there's never a moment where the 190 decibel or 140 decibel jet guy is sneaking up on anything.
Well, I don't think
so
this isn't for sneaking. This is to get people on and off boats.
But it's like, it's heavy, it's awkward. He's not shooting a gun. He's incredibly vulnerable.
Anybody going anywhere sneaking there, Chris Devona? Like,
yeah.
This is not about sneaking. This is about rapid deployment.
Hey, Chris, do all your neighbors have really good stuff that you like to look at late at night?
Why is sneaking your default action?
They're a boat, you know. They're sneaking up on a boat in Zodiacs, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna go up on a magnet. I mean, it's like this is Call of Duty bullshit right here. This is
but that's scary though.
It looks fun though. Man, that looks fun.
But
I do like it. Looks like at least one of the major propulsion units are on your hands, which makes it very interesting.
Yeah, so you've got two little things poking out your back and two on your hands, like that. So, and it takes a lot of training to get good at this, absolutely. But
completely inefficient use of that stuff. Like I get the whole idea of this is you can quickly deploy your units, your special forces units. Like if you were going to have a bunch of SEALs, you could send the SEALs out. They get back on the Zodiac. They get back on your boat real fast. You can get the hell out of the place in a hurry. That's what this is for.
Alternatively,
but that has to be so expensive to use.
Yeah. and dangerous.
Compared to like belaying hooks, right? Or alternatively, you could have a professor using that in full regalia to show up at graduation.
Yeah.
Right? To make a little bit of an entrance.
Are you trying to figure out a way to get somebody at your university to buy you a jetpack?
Dear National Science Foundation, I need funding.
Well, you're gonna have to partner with the Royal Marine Corps. So
no problem.
I know Chris has some hooks with that stuff, so he knows a whole bunch of people in England. Maybe he can hook you up.
Right.
This is so dumb. I'm trying to find my video when I saw Jetman do his Jetman thing.
I guess I just can't see any way where a helicopter with when they have the guys that jump out with the ropes from a helicopter. You see that sort of shtick in movies. Like helicopters are fast. Whoa!
I'm sorry. What? What did you say? So basically, this was through like a 4-inch thick piece of glass, and it's just like it was so loud.
Yeah, but I feel like if you've got your dudes with your jetpacks, and any one of those things goes wrong, you got to fish a dude out of the water. That's no good. And those seems like there's a lot of chances for that to happen.
Something goes wrong on the helicopter, you got to fish 8 dudes out of the water. So.
That's true. That's true. But we have been flying helicopters into combat for, decades, and I'm pretty sure that no Black Hawk has ever gone down.
Yeah. There was a lot of practice with those helicopters.
Well, and here's the thing though, it just cracked me up, and I'm like, listen, I get where you want to go with this, but let's assume the enemy ship has a waiting piece of tarmac where it's not covered in people shooting at you. Sure, let's go with that. I'm like, is this for like the pilots in the Suez Canal so they can get onto the boats really fast? Okay, sure, let's go with that. I mean, it's fun and it's cool, but it's just, in the end, it's just a target with a big pile of fuel on its back, that's gonna fall into the water on a good day.
Yeah, but again, they're not giving these people machine guns with their hand jets.
They should.
Another boat, Chris. This isn't about attacking anything.
Yeah.
This is about getting from the small boat to the big boat quickly.
What do you think the job of a boarding party is, Rob? This isn't search and rescue. They're not.
They raise the barn
off the Titanic.
They just raise the barn. The Amish boarding party comes and raises a barn.
Yeah. They are not using this for that.
It's a good old-fashioned jet barn raising.
All right, gentlemen.
To scare people, right? Like you're a Somali pirate and you see some dude flying at you, you're gonna be like, "Oh crap!"
Right. In the same way, they're not giving these to the intelligence analysts, to go through the paperwork. They're not giving them to boarding parties, Chris.
Or
to
professors at the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
These are now exclusively for graduation ceremonies.
Yep.
For me and my regalia.
I mean, maybe they're using it to clean the grounds, right? Because that thing would blow the hell out of some leaves and some loose brush. That's all I'm saying.
It would. I'm picturing the poor groundskeeper. Like the first time they have this guy bring the Super Bowl football, he's like, "Oh crap! You know how long it took to prepare the turf?" But
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in my grant. I'm totally willing to sweep away the garbage and stuff with my jetpack after the ceremony's over.
Oh, like as part of it?
Yeah.
One dramatic entrance and 300 square yards of leaf removal.
So there's a movie coming out. I think it's a spy movie where the bad guys use the other kind of jetpack with the water,
Oh, yeah.
And they're shooting from that. That's a little more. I admit I got a kick out of that. I have to find that.
All right, Chris, you find that for Friday. I'm gonna say goodbye to Cliff Lampy.
Oh,
so wait. Fine.
Just to me? What's happening to
just you? Press
Goodbye.
I can't even kick you. I don't have the button. Only I think Chris and Rob have the kick button.
Rob Roseboom, don't you do it. I see that look. I see that look.
So much power.
Been nice knowing you, Mr. Lampy.
See that look on your face.
Okay, goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
And goodbye, Chris DeBona.
see you.
And I have been Rob Commander Taco Malda. This was Geeks in Space. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're watching Mystery Men. Bye.